Hello, welcome along, Nigel with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Welcome back. It's World War I Wednesday and everybody's loving this apparently. So, I'm actually videoing this before you've seen World War I Wednesday 18 from last week. So in that one I asked you the question about what do you want to see me do. Do you want to see me do this and a vehicle, just this, whatever. And yeah, so I haven't seen your comments. I don't have a clue what you're looking for. So as I start this video, I'm working on the Sopwith Camel. But as I said in part 18, or in WNW Wednesday 18, which was, what was that, part 3 of this build, I'm not going to stop this and do something else. This will always feature. It may not feature every week because there's going to be times like now where I've got a lot of work to do off camera. Anyway. So we in 18 we got up to here and we've made all our control lines. We've attached all our control lines to our control column and everything. We've got the fuel tank painted and fitted and everything. So that's all nice with its pin straps in there, and they've stayed on there for a few days now. And that was where I left it. So I had these parts here off the sprue, and I said I was going to have to do some wood grain. I'm sorry, sir, I should have looked your name up before I started making this video. Somebody suggested trying. Put the oils down, give it a few minutes, and then try giving it a clear coat. And it worked. Amazingly, I tried it before and it didn't work. I must have not used a lacquer clear coat. I don't know, but it worked. So you don't have to wait around for days for your clear coats to dry. But what I would suggest, if you're going to do masking, like when you do, like I did this and I masked off to do those bits, I would suggest probably leave that a few days before you do any masking tape, because you probably will, if it's got wet oil underneath, it'll probably just peel off, unless it just kind of eats into the oil and then the oils evaporate with it as it degasses. I don't know. We've got this little piece here. This is J18. So that piece is painted in gloss black as per instructed, and then there's this little piece that goes on the bottom that keeps it all together. But before I'll fit that, that's going to go onto here. This is the these are the ammo boxes. So this rudder pedal assembly is going to go up onto there, like so. And then we've got this piece here going on first. Got to make sure we get that the right way up. So that's going to go on like that first, and then the rudder pedals are going to go on like that. And then we've got that piece there going on the bottom. And then I think what we'll do is a drop of super glue on there, and that'll be enough to hold that in place, and then we'll have our rudder pedals so we can actually move the rudder, which will be fun. But we've got the 4 control lines cut off in here. I won't do that on camera, I'll do that off camera, and then we'll put this assembly together and then we can bag it up again. I won't glue this part because that is basically going to go, if you look in the instructions, you can see here that piece is going to go into there. Okay, so I'm not going to glue that yet, so that'll prevent it being snapped off, and it also means I can swing it sideways and put this in a bag, a plastic bag. And I can see I've got finger marks all over that nice gloss black paint, so I'll just remove that. This is Tamiya LP1 with retarder in it, so you get a nice gloss finish. And yeah, it took quite a lot of cleanup on here and all these seams and everything around there, but we got there in the end. And that is painted with LP11 silver, just ordinary silver paint. So yeah, I think that looks quite good. There's a couple of marks under there you can see still there, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. It's underneath, and then you've got the rudders and everything underneath, so no one's going to see that. Okay, so that's where we got to. So what we're going to do now, well, we're going to put the strings on there. The other thing I've done, when you look in here, we have to fit these leather straps for the rudder pedals, which, as if you remember, when I did these on the fuel tank, they were a nightmare to glue. So I'm going to try the black thin this time. And the other thing I've done, I've come in with a saw and then used this trumpeter saw. And basically what I've done is made grooves. I don't know if you can see them there. I've made grooves to give that leather something to, I'm just going to use this saw to remove any paint or anything. But this, I just thought I'd put a couple of grooves in here. It'll give that leather strap something to sit in, rather than just be sitting on the surface. So what I'm doing here is just using this saw to remove the paint and oil and clear coat. So it's going to be leather to plastic. And there's a couple of little slots on here, a couple of little tabs. I've just snapped this in half. Look. That's one of the risks of using oils, I think. Certain plastics don't like it. There we go. So I'm going to have to try and strengthen that some. I'll just put some extra thin in there and clamp it back together. But in fact, I think I'll do that now. Alright, I just put a couple of drops of extra thin quick setting in there. I'm thinking about it, it's probably not the oil, it's probably where I've been putting a pin in there to hold it to, and then stroking it, doing all the oils and stuff, and it's probably weakened the plastic. But I can't put a piece of wire or anything underneath it because it'll stop that little ring going on. So I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. Right, in fact that's going to help support it as well, isn't it? So I'm going to add these little bits. Or should I do the strings first? Maybe I should do the strings first, because if I knock them they're likely to break off, aren't they, judging by previous history. I'm going to get those strings attached and then I'll come back. Okay, so you can see here we've got the this is not with no strings attached, this is with strings attached. So you can see we've got those on there and they're all labelled up on the end, so we know they're going to go in the right place. You can see I've stuck one of those straps in, so we'll get the other one now. So I've got it on this peg so I can hold it in place like that. And that was how I did the control cables. So what I'm going to do is grab this now. Grabbing a pair of tweezers. There you go, Tron. I cleaned it off for you, mate. Okay. Tron is an old fan of the show, friend of the channel, and often comments. And last week he was saying that I need to clean out my... Where's that groove? It's there. So I can push that down into that groove. Hopefully it'll stay there. Just going to give it a nudge forward. This is where I need to work under a magnifier, guys. I'm really sorry, but there we go, that is correct actually, because it's narrower on the this end is, I need to make sure the string don't go in that glue. This end is narrower than that end obviously, so we'll have it flush on the front, and then when we bend them over they will be flush on the front. So I'm tempted to put a drop of... No, I'm not. I don't want to put accelerator on there because it can affect the glue. It makes the glue go rock hard and all bubbly and everything. So what I'm going to do is leave those like that for now. Let those set and then come back to them. In the meantime, we don't have to stop. We can look at something else. So I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to put my glue and everything over there out of the way. We don't want to go getting those strings in the glue. And we can push those over there. So, I'm looking at the instructions. I'm jumping around all over the place because, as I said last week, they're asking us to rig this the rudder pedals and the centerpiece now. Well, I don't want to do that because it's not going to be fitted till here. We've got all this work to do before, so I don't want to have that just hanging around loosely. So what I'm going to do is build this as a unit here. They're already rigged, and then when it's in, we'll rig. What I'll do is I'll rig this piece off and then feed it into the model. So then we've got to try and get underneath the seat. So it's going to be quite fiddly, but it's all going to be doable, I'm sure. So we've got these main fuselage sides there, and they've got the undercarriage legs and these upper spars, upper struts on them. Main struts, that's the word I was looking for. So yeah, what we've got to do is Q3, I'm not sure what that is. We'll have to see what colour we can find for that one. G12 is going to go on that side, so we've got a little cylinder there and we've got a cylinder there. But that's a long way off yet. We'll get these off and get them cleaned up. Now I've kind of done one. This is how they come off the sprue. So we've got sprue connection points going all the way around, like this week, all the way here, and you can see all over the model we've got these little, let me turn that light off a second. All over the model we've got these little ejector tabs. You can see them on here. so they've got to be cut off and sanded. But what I would suggest, you've got all these spars in here that hold it all together. I would suggest you go round, trim everything up and sand everything that you need to sand, and leave those in for now, because it gives you a lot of strength in what is otherwise quite a weak little structure. So there we go, we've got this round tube on the back. I'm assuming that's going to be metal. We've got to make sure that what we are cutting off is actually sprue gate and not a nubbin for something else. So there we go, we got sprue gates down here, sprue gates there, we got some more there, some more there, there, we're in the middle. So I'm going to go around and get all these removed, and then as you can see there's one on the end of there, and then what we're going to do is get this all sanded out. Now the other thing to remember, there are ejector pins on here, and I've used my black thin to fill these in. There are 88 ejector pin marks on the inside of there, so if you worry about ejector pin marks, then you got your work cut out. But this one's all sanded and cleaned up and everything, and all good to go. But as you can see, there's lots and lots of work, and what I've done is basically after it's all sanded, I've used a worn out 400 grit stick to go in and remove the sprue gates like so. Okay, so just, it's very nice plastic this to sand actually. It's not too soft, not too hard, it's lovely. And I've got a feeling those two bits there are going to get cut off anyway later on. I'll leave them there for now just in case they aid assembly going forward. We've got that bit there, so I'm going to grab my little icky sticky skinny stick, which was bought for me by Annie. Thank you, Annie. These really are brilliant, these little things. You can see it's much shorter than it was. I keep cutting the ends off as they get worn out. I cut the ends off, that's what I always do with these things. We've also got a sprue nib on there. Okay, and then here I can use my, where's it gone? There it is, it's under the sponge. I can use my 400 grit here, because you have to look at the gaps. We've got these raised areas on here, so we need to make sure we don't go removing them. Remember, all of this is going to be visible on the finished model, guys, so we need to make sure it's nice. I mean, we're going to be wood grain in it and that, so that will hide any little sins that you make. Okay, and we're probably wide enough now. Yeah, we can come in with the big boy. Get that sanded. Got a sprue gate on top of that lump there, look. And then we've got these down here. And then we've also got, it's worth looking at this, you can see here there is a purposeful step in there. There is a step going down. However, in other areas we have seam lines. So if you look, for example, in here, going along there, there is a seam line, so we want to remove that. Okay, so remove the seam line, but don't remove all the plastic back, because you don't want to get rid of that step. On the bottom of this, on the top, sorry, of these struts, there's ejector pin marks, not ejector pin marks, sprue gates, there and there. So that's those gone, and then we've got on the front here, there's one there in the middle. And all the way around, there's like an edge all the way around where you've got, like, because it's a square box, the way it's been moulded, you've probably got one tool is flat and one tool has got the three sides in it, so you get like a seam line along the edge, which is unavoidable. So you really want to get rid of them because they won't look very nice on a model of this size. Get rid of those sprue gates on the front of those undercarriage legs. Big one on the bottom of there, so I'll just get my knife and chop most of it away. we go. And then again on the back edge, you can see on here these ejector pin marks. And then what I'm doing, I'm coming along with a sponge and just going around to soften everything, because there's going to be seam lines everywhere. So we can get in there, we can get into there, and then with our skinny sponge we can get into there and move that seam line from there. Remember, seam lines look horrible, especially under wood grain. Okay, so I'm going to carry on with this, carry on with all this sanding, and get the ejector pin marks filled in, and then we'll come back and we'll see if we can finish off those rudder pedals. See you in a minute. Just to help the newer modelers out there, what I'm going to do now is go round and remove these little ejector tabs from these little connection points. I'm not sure what they're for. I think the smaller ones are for the rigging, but I'm not sure what the larger ones are for. They're probably for panels to pop in. I think some of these panels will be removable. But I'm just going to stay in localized areas. Now I'm not sure if that is supposed to be on there. It's not. So we'll cut that off. You might want to wear safety glasses as well here, because a couple of times I've smacked my face. If you don't wear glasses already, I've whacked my glasses with the back end. So if you don't wear safety glasses, I should imagine, or if you don't wear glasses at all, you might want to put some safety glasses on, because I can imagine that would be quite painful with no eye protection whatsoever. So I can't get in there with that one, so I'm going to have to grab my Infini little PE sander. This is the 2mm wide one. There we go, put that back over there, and then there's a bit in here. So what I'm going to do now is remove this one. Okay, did I go in and do those? I didn't, did I? That was the whole objective of doing it in stages, so that I don't miss it. And this is the trouble when you're talking to yourself, basically. I'm talking to however many people watch this video, but at the moment right here I'm talking to myself. So you can see in there we got a sprue gate and we've got a mould seam, so we can get in there with our nice hard sanding stick. A couple of swipes just to check your level. You're not putting a big radius on everything. There we go, and then again, sponge, clean up the edges, soften. Well, make sure you hold the part you're sanding as well. I'm not trying to tell you how to do this, I'm just trying to give tips to newer modelers, because I know that some of you see me doing these things and you go and buy them yourself, and when you get them you realise that, hang on a minute, this might be a bit above my station at the moment. Well, I can tell you it's not, okay? It's just fiddly. The rigging is just fiddly. Don't be scared of anything. Don't be worried about anything. At the end of the day, it's just a load of bits of plastic. Careful there, that's not a sprue gate, that is a... I'd forgotten to do the, this is the upper side. So I really want to make sure we get rid of any little marks on here. Okay, and then once again, do everything in stages, and then you won't forget. If you sand the bottom edge, sponge the bottom edge, sand the top edge, sponge the top edge, and that way you either leave it completely, or you do it all. Okay, so we've gone around there, we've gone around there, all in there. So now we can go to here. We can take that one out of there, and then you can see there's a mould seam down the middle of that one. We can take that out. There we go, and then same on the other side. You can see that end flicking around, that's when you hit yourself in the eye. Just keep going until the mould seam's all gone, and then again sponge, just softens the edges. And then in here, I don't know if you can see it in there, there's a mould seam. Just come in there with the icky sticky skinny stick, just sand that away. Same in there. Same in there. Just like so, and then sponge. And there we are, job done. So I'm going to carry on now all the way down, and then I'll fill in all the ejector pin marks. Go from there. Right, so that's those all done. I've given this one side a second application now. This was the first one. I've had a second application because some of those marks are quite deep and the glue sinks back. So there we go. So that's both of those done now. So you can see it's a lot of work. I've been sat here for about 2 hours doing that. So there we go. Right, so let's see if we can get these rudder pedal straps to go in. So first things first, I'm going to grab my tweezers. In fact, I'm going to grab my narrow tweezers and see if it'll go over easily without breaking out of this side. Let's do it that way round. Notice I'm clamping it right next to where I'm gluing it, because yes, it even stays there. Because I've got those grooves, it stays there without even having any glue on it, so that's cool. Right, so we're going to put some of the black glue on here. This black seems to work a lot better than the clear. Certainly after that experience with the fuel tank, that seems to be the way. And then that's going to go into there, like so. I'm going to push it down into that groove. There we are, that's gone down in there. Lovely. And that should stay there. So there we go. Right, so I'll get the other side done, and then we'll come back and look at what we're doing and what we can do next. I guess we can put all this together, can't we? What am I doing? Put it in there like that, idiot. Right, see you in a minute. Right, so that's both of them done now, as you can see, and they're looking lovely. So even if I say so myself. So what we can do now is take this off of here, like so, and we can put that to one side because we've got to fit this bit first. Now this bit goes on, and make sure when it goes on, this semicircular end piece is circle side up. Okay, so that's going to go like that. And then these rudder pedals, we're going to make sure we get them the right way round. So that is forward. So where these holes are is forward, and the rudder pedals have got to, the ropes have got to face back. So that's going to go like that. Okay, and then this disc is going to go onto there. That's quite a nice snug fit on there actually. It doesn't even fall off. It may be because there's the paint on there. But what I'm going to do is grab a drop of this black thin, put a blob of that on there, make it nice and even, just like so. And that should get some more to make it a bit more even. Not that you're ever going to see it, I don't think, but there we go. That should dry out nice and even, that'll shrink back. And hopefully it won't glue our rudder pedal solid. If it does, we'll have to do something about it, but there we go. So I think the best thing to do is to somehow hold this grab it there? Nope. What we'll have to do is grab one of these little expanding clamps. We'll put that in there like that and plonk that there, and we'll just leave that to dry. In fact, I would rather have it like that, wouldn't I? So I'm guessing, oh, I don't know, whatever. Maybe I can slot it into here. If I can find a hole big enough. There we are. Right, so we'll just let that dry, and as I say, hopefully the glue won't get onto our rudder pedals. I don't think it will, but if it does, there's oil and everything on there, so we should be able to manipulate it and crack it off. Right, so I'm going to let all these ejector pin marks dry, sand all them out, so that's like 97 days work like that. And we're back. It's Thursday morning now. This has taken hours. As you can see, we've got all the cross members here, done all the ejector pin marks in them. We've got the front axle and fairing. I've done the seam at the back there with the black super glue. I've got this piece which is going to go in on the top. We've got these two bits here. Now this is the pivot for the tail skid. So that's gonna, I've glued this together rather than doing it as they say in the instructions, and I'm gonna pop that on afterwards. You can see that's just gonna press on there. But this has all got to be gloss black. This little piece here, I shouldn't have taken it off. That goes underneath the back. It's just for some rigging to the tail plane. So I shouldn't have taken that off, but it's there now, so we'll have to spray it. This pipe here, this is the intake, and that's going to go into the back of the engine here. So it's going to sort of sit into, no, it goes onto there, that's right. It's going to go onto there. So that is going to drop down onto there like that. Okay, and that is going to be visible because it's right in front of the control column. In the instructions they tell you to paint that black. It should be silver. There is a picture in the book here. I have something else on top of the book. There is a picture in here of a crashed example, and let me find it. Okay, so here you can see clearly there it's aluminium. This is on a restored aircraft, obviously. You can see there clearly it's aluminium, and then we go over the page here. We can see here's a crashed. This is an engine, just an engine. I don't know how this has happened, but the actual front of the aircraft has come off the rest of the fuselage, and you can see there's that tube there, and it's definitely an aluminium. And we've got the ejector chutes there for the ammo as well, and that's an aluminium. It looks like the instrument panel there is black, or it's very dark, so very interesting. But you can see there's that panel there. And that's going through the skins, which on the inside are going to be aluminium as well. So all very nice. Right, you can see it there again. There it is in aluminium. So that's that tube that's going to sit like that. So it pulls in air. And obviously this bit here, this is obviously some sort of choke mechanism, I'm guessing. But there's tubes in the side of the aircraft. You can see it here. There you go, there's that mechanism there. So you can see there it is aluminium as well. There's those chutes. So there we go. So you can also see all these brackets here are all gloss black. So we'll have to pick them out as well with a brush. You can see all them here, all these brackets, all the little rigging points. They're all going to be gloss black. So well, they're going to be black anyway. I don't know if they're going to be gloss black. I can see here I've got some excess super glue on it. Okay, so yeah, it's Thursday now. So part 3 or 4, I think it was 3, went out last night, didn't it? Of this one, and you obviously it's only Thursday morning. A few of you have commented, and one of you has said you'd rather see me just stick with the Camel, but everyone else has said, yeah, great, mix it up. So I'm sorry to the guy that wants me just stick to the Camel. So if we do decide to mix it up, then I'm sorry to you, sir. Hopefully you'll keep watching. But what I intend to do is, rather than have a whole video dedicated to one kit, what I intend to do is kind of split it up, okay, just to keep it a bit more interesting. And also it's for me, I mean, as you can see, I started this, I started working on these fuselage frames on Sunday, I think it was, no, Monday, and it's now Thursday, and that's all I've managed to do in 4 days, and I haven't really done anything else. I've replaced the windows in my shed, and I've washed my van, and that's about it. So this is hours and hours of work, because what happens is you put the super glue in, you sand it back, and then you see there's a few that have shrunk back, and then you spot another one, and of course you're having to wait for the glue to dry. And when I use super glue as a filler, I don't generally use accelerator, because accelerator tends to make it sort of become almost like a crunchy inside. It becomes, you know, all full of holes. So there we go. But that's all that done. So yeah, so this is part 4, I believe. We're 38 minutes left on the video. So I may pick up something else. I may just carry on and do this. But obviously now I've got to go on and do some painting. I think I'm going to use LP75 buff on these. I like to use my LP paints because A, they don't need a primer, and B, they're tough as old boots when they're on. So Tamiya XFs can be a little bit fragile, especially straight on plastic. And yeah, I'd rather just go straight in with the buff, and that can act as a primer as well. You see, I've noticed here we've got ejector pin marks that I've missed, and they're recessed, so they're going to have to be filled. So there's some in there as well. Yes, they're in there as well. I've got that one, look, but not the others. So I need to go in and get them now. So we can just grab some super glue, because I've been working on something else that you guys will be seeing shortly. That you will like very much. It's not World War One. It's very, very modern, actually. So there we go. Right. So wait for that to dry and sand that down. I thought I was going to get these sprayed up today, but clearly I'm not. Well, this morning anyway. So I'll see you back in a minute, and we'll see what it all looks like when it's all painted. This has got to be wood grained as well. This has got to be aluminium. That's all got to be gloss black. That's got to be painted a different colour. So there we go. I thoroughly recommend getting these takeaway trays, pots, whatever, for your spare parts. It's, you know, it's a really good way to keep them. You can see here, it's not a good place to keep them on the lid, because when it comes off it becomes like a spring. Oh, come on. Come off, you swine. Oh, God. It's only because the camera's on it's doing this. That corner's gone back on now. Oh, get off. You can see it's a really good way. Oh, this panel here, this is the engine support. Absolutely plastered in ejector pin marks, but they're all raised. So that's good. You just sand them out. But that takes forever to sand them out. There must be 30 ejector pin marks on there. It's a complete and utter pain. So yeah, so bear that one in mind. But it's really handy to keep all your bits in all together, all dust free and everything. So you know, and your sub assemblies and that, and it stops anything getting damaged as well. So there we go. So I will get some sanding and painting done, and I will see you back in a minute, either with this or with something else. We shall see. While I think of it, I just wanted to say, Luke over at Black Rifle Model Works, yeah, Black Rifle Model Works is a YouTube channel. He has just bought the Mini R armoured car in Ukrainian service, exactly the same kit as I've got, and I think he'll be doing a video build of it very soon. He'll probably put it in a diorama. He is a much better modeler than me. His work is absolutely stunning, so if you want to see that built really nicely in a diorama setting, then go take a look at that as well. Right, I will see you in a minute. Okay, so a couple of days later now, in between the last segment and this one, you will have seen my video about my internet, so I'm going to be cutting this pretty short actually, because it's going to be taking, you know, if I make it an hour long, it's going to take 26, 27 hours, whatever, to upload. So I'm going to do this and call it a day. Really, really poor design here from the engineers. What they've done, we have all these ejector pin marks on the inside here, which is absolutely fine. They're on the inside. That's fine. We can get rid of them. We can leave them, whatever we want to do. With these cross braces, the ones that go in the bottom have to go a certain way up, because you've got this little leg on the end here that goes in. And as you can see, when that fits into the side frame, you've got the hole is at the upper side of the square that it fits into, so it's got to go that way up. So the ejector pin marks are facing up. So when you look at your model, you're going to see them, and if you are doing the wood grain, it's going to look bloody horrible, because they'll stick out like a sore thumb. So you're going to have to get rid of them. Even worse than that, The upper ones, these have a recess in them, and the recess points upwards. And yes, the ejector pin marks are on that side. So the underside, which you won't see because it's inside the framework, is perfectly clean, but the actual ejector pin marks are in the upper face. So have I got one here that's from the top? I don't think I do. But basically, yeah, I've had to go over because I had some witness marks. You can see I've filled these in again and then resanded them, so they're going to have to get another coat of the. I'm using LP75 buff, and I'm spraying this neat. I'm not thinning it, and it's going down lovely. You can see it on there. It's gone down really nice. I found if I thinned it, it just took like 27 coats to cover. This is one of the problems with LP paints, and I'm really starting to go off them, to be honest. I was using that LP39, the racing white, which is a nice off-white colour, the other day, and I used about 8 million coats, which means you have a great big thick. I was doing some invasion stripes with it, and it's awful. This is the same. If you thin it, you need a load of paint. The worst I've ever used is the LP34, which is a very light grey, perfect for like a Bismarck turret or something. But you use like a whole bottle. If you thin it, you need to spray it neat. So bear that in mind with some of these LP paints. I'm starting to go off them. I'm kind of preferring the Outlaw because they're sort of one coat and it's done. But I might see if Moss has a colour like this in the range. So anyway, I'm going to get on and paint this, and then we will come back next week and I'll have all the wood graining and everything done. In the meantime, hopefully my internet will get fixed so we can return to service as normal. In the meantime, what I'll probably do is make another video, so you'll have a bumper edition or something next week. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I've got some other stuff to do. Okay, there we go, all painted. That, believe it or not, has used half a jar of the LP75 buff. So, yeah, not the most economical of paints, I can assure you. As I said, I'm going to see if I can get the Outlaw. This is Outlaw paint here. This is one made especially for me with my image on it. But outlawpaints.com or .co.uk. Very nice paint, fantastic coverage, and I can tell you that doing all this probably would have used about 3 or 4 millimeters off the top of that, because it's just one pass, it's done, it's covered. It's very good paint. The only downside to it is if you've got any pre-shading or anything, it does tend to obliterate it quite easily, so you have to be careful. But if you go and look at my Gannet build, I've used it on that, and it's very nice paint indeed. So I've ordered another couple of jars of the RP75, so we'll be okay for doing the wings and everything, because obviously with these, one of the biggest issues with this, it's not the paint usage, it's the fact that it's a square and it's quite small. So, you know, I'm spraying this, and as you can see from the piece of paper in the bottom of my booth, I'm wasting more than I'm using. There's a good thick layer of paint on there. So yeah, I'm kind of, you know, you're spraying here, and you're spraying you've probably got a 10 mil wide band of paint going onto a 2 mil wide square, so you're losing 80% of what you're painting. So there we are, but they're all done now. They're ready for wood graining, and what I'm going to do the vertical ones first, and then I'll mask those off and do the horizontal ones, just to try and make them look a bit nicer. These actual legs here, they look like they're covered in fabric or something, so we'll be painting those. But I thought I'd just do it all as it's a primer, and I can check my ejector pin marks. But as you can see, the ejector pin marks have all disappeared. We've done you've seen that already. We've done the axle. We've got all our beams, cross members done, so that's all done. I've done this bulkhead, so there's glossy black on there. I might sand that down and do it again because we've got a bit of a build up on the edges, so we shall see. And then here we've got this cylinder which has to be brass. I've done that with I sprayed it gloss black first, and then I've used Alclad, and then gone over with Alclad aqua gloss, and you can see we've still got that metallic look to it. So I'll mask that off now and do the bands. And then this intake pipe here, I did that in gloss black as well, and then I've gone over it with polished aluminum in the Alclad. So that looks very nice, I think. So, and then also that's had the aqua gloss as well. The beauty of aqua gloss is you can spray it over any metallics and it doesn't lose the metallic look. If you use just an ordinary, you know, LP9 or something gloss clear, it makes it look just like silver paint. You lose that metallic look. So there we are. Right, so that's that. I'm going to have to get some wood graining done. Okay, and there we go. I've edited this in. I was going to call it a day with the last snippet, but I thought I'd let you see this first. So what I've done, I've basically done all the vertical wood and then given it a clear coat, and now I've done all the horizontal wood, and we're now going to wait and give that a clear coat as well. I just noticed I've got an excess bit on there. Just going to rub that off. There we go. This is the beauty of using oils. You can play with it, you know, days after. So we'll just get those bits off of there. Get a fresh cotton bud. I've gone through about 30 cotton buds, I think. But yeah, it's nice. That bit of the back there is steel, so that's going to be painted black. Make sure we get the wood in behind where those holes are. But yeah, on the whole, really pleased with it. So really pleased with how those uprights have come out, and I'm also quite pleased with how this has come out with the wood grain on there. So yeah, happy about that. I've done the gloss black on the tail skid as well, so that was masked off and sprayed. That's all good. See that there. And I've also sanded down and redone that front bulkhead, so that looks a bit better now without that build up of paint on the edges. So there we are. So yeah, happy with how it's all going. I'm going to leave this now for a few hours before I clear coat it. Again, I want to say a massive thank you to the gentleman that told me about doing this. You know, don't have to leave it for days, you can do it pretty much straight away. I'm still leaving it for sort of 18-24 hours because I'm worried, like when I had to mask it especially, I was worried that it would just lift it all off. But there we go. So and if you want to see something here, if you want a wood grain lighter, just give it a heavier rub with a cotton bud, and if you just go like that, okay, you will sort of rub the oil off. But if you do this sort of thing and just stop and start in the middle, you end up with a bit of a pattern. You tend to get that more of a sort of a wood look to it. I think it's probably all a little bit too dark in reality, but that's what it is. You know, I could have used like a yellow instead, but I wanted it to look fairly dark. I used to own a house that was built in 1912, and it was thick solid stone walls, and it had these beautiful sash windows were in it. I saw a photograph of it, you know, from the 40s or whatever, and somebody had these windows taken out and replaced them with aluminium double glazes. Yuck, horrible. So I had these sash windows made. It had these double-breasted front. You know, it was a typical house with a, you know, like the house was here. You had a front door. You had a bay window here, bay window here, window. It's typical, you know, detached Victorian house or Edwardian, whatever it was, and yeah, I had these wooden sash windows made, and the guy that did the windows for me actually custom built them, cost a fortune. And he said, yeah, he said, the thing is, he said, those original windows, he said, the wood that they were made of would have been so much better. He said, the wood I'm making these windows out of, they probably wouldn't have even bothered putting on the fire because it would have burnt too quick. That's how it was in those days. So, yeah, so the wood here would have been extremely good quality. And so maybe it would have been sort of quite, you know, darker. Or I'm certainly looking in my restorations book, I can see that a lot of the wood is quite dark. Anyway, I've waffled enough. I'm going to give this a clear coat, and then I'm going to play with some orange and stuff, and perhaps add some hues and that to it. So I'll see you all soon I'll see you next week for the next part, and I'll go and let this upload now for 25 hours or whatever it's going to take. So I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.